Hi all, and welcome to another Pixelcave adventure. We set out to explore the latest demo for feel-good survival sandbox game A Loft, and we'll tell you all about it. Never having tried the game before, we were keen to find out what A Loft has to offer. And during the Steam Next Fest, we could also try out the expanded co-op mode for up to 8 players, which was even more of a reason for us to jump into the demo. While the co-op mode we played will vanish with the end of the Steam Next Fest, the single player demo will still be around, so if the game tickles your interest, you can give it a go. A Loft is set in a world of clouds and floating islands, and its core gameplay centers around discovering lost knowledge, building your own skyship, and cleansing the ecosystem of corruption. Well, the game had us at building your own skyship, so, wanting to build our own flying island base, we created a new world so that we could start our adventure. Character creation is fairly basic for now, and it's clear that they will add more customization options ahead of early access. Speaking of which, the game is set to release in early access in fall this year, so it's not too far out. Finding ourselves on an idyllic island, we were tasked with learning the basics and finding our first knowledge. These first few steps are teaching the key elements of the game, like gathering resources, building tools and workstations, and most importantly, discovering more knowledge. New recipes are discovered in various ways. There is the discovery process at your workstation, that allows you to combine resources to unlock new recipes for gear, tools, and consumables. Different combos can yield different recipes. Then there are knowledge stones that can teach you anything from workstations to building items. There are also these big anchors that teach you new parts for your ship. And the more elaborate reliefs teach you some core items you need for progression, like for instance your glider. Finally, there's a pretty cool feature, and that's your sketchbook. Once you discover the crafting recipe for it and have one or more empty pages, you can use it to copy and learn designs from things you discover in the world. For example, you can examine a building you found and learn new blocks or furniture. We think this is a pretty neat game mechanic. Having unlocked our glider, we head out to explore more of the floating islands. These islands can be anything from tiny to rather large. Some feature different resources, animals, or a small cave and buildings to explore. You also come across islands that need help with restoring their ecosystem, and others that need to be cleansed from fungi and corruption. By the way, the scope of the demo is still very limited, with only a small part of the world being unlocked. We presume that the final game will allow you to travel to different parts of the map via the hurricane, with multiple new biomes to explore. Hopping from island to island, we found more knowledge and resources that allowed us to craft more tools, stations, and parts for our future skybase. With that in mind, we set out to find a suitable island base. Looking for a smaller footprint, we settled for this charming tiny piece of floating real estate, complete with a private pond. Adding the helm, rudder, floater, and sail, we steered our tiny island back to our initial home. The plan was to build a ring around the center, then build outwards and upwards, so it began. Of course, it didn't take long until we needed more resources, and that required more exploration. To our shock, after returning home from one of our excursions and eager to build more, we found our little skybase gone. Yes, gone from where we parked it, just above the open area of the starter island. Searching everywhere, we started to panic. Was it a bug? Would we have to start over? Was it time to rage quit? Well, scouting the skies, we were determined to find it. Maybe it just drifted astray. Eagle-eyed Mr. Pixel spotted something unusual in the far distance, far off and sort of opposite from all the smaller floating islands progression-wise. Luckily, it was our sky base. The day and this video were saved. Sailing the little runaway home, we went full on building mode. And here are a few snapshots from our building progress over the next few hours. After many hours of building, resource gathering and decorating, our whimsical flying creation was complete. Let's take a quick tour. Happy with our new home, it was time to finally sail off to help more of the other islands. Each island that needs saving usually has different needs, that be restoring its flora and fauna or battling corruption and evil fungi creatures. Learning and unlocking something called a field guide is key, as it will tell you the requirements of each island. Repopulating an island with animals requires you to feed and pick up animals elsewhere and transport them with your base to the island that needs them. As proud flying homeowners, we were finally able to do so. Another goal was to take some of these adorable animals on board to start a small farm. In addition to animals, you can also farm crops, build and automate machinery and produce all kinds of things. While not everything is available in the current demo, there's a lot of promise for more in-depth game mechanics and features that will add more substance to this cozy sandbox game. With that said, the standout feature for us is definitely the building. With its visual Ghibli and Zelda vibes, we can only imagine the amazing creations that the community will come up with once we're all given a few more materials and hopefully the option to paint building pieces. There also seems to be a creative mode we haven't really tested yet, and there will be something called an island creator, seemingly allowing you to share your own creations with others. Oh, did we mention you will be able to take your island base with you when you join another player's world? It all sounds promising if the developer can manage to keep it all aloft. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment and click that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it, as it will help others find this video. And don't hesitate to subscribe if you like the games we're playing.